Your job is safe is exactly what they told my mom before they fired her from her 20-year career. And if you're watching this video right now, it's probably because the gods of the algorithm somehow decided that you're trying to figure out, should I stay in employment? Should I start a business? Should I be a closer? Should I go work for somebody? Maybe you're in a job looking to go to a different job. And so I just wanted to share my opinion and my background on it. Now, to give you some context there, my mom actually spent about 20 years working for the exact same company. And in the last 5 years, I almost got to spend no time with her whatsoever because she would work nights, she would work weekends, slaving for this company, showing them that she was part of the team and that she wanted to stay on board. Well, it was a newspaper, it was the Kansas City Star, and I don't know if you've been paying attention, but newspapers aren't really much of a thing anymore. When it came time to start the cuts and start the layoffs, even though she put in all this hard work, at the end of the day, she was just a number to the company. And you always hear these things of, oh, get a safe job. Jobs are safer than entrepreneurships. But guess what? Okay, I want to challenge you on that thinking, because was it the employees who got laid off first, or was it the owners and the shareholders that got the pay cut? Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The owners of that company didn't get fired, right? They didn't leave the company. The employees were the ones left with the bag. And you can see it now. Even the big companies, right? Like Intel, Microsoft, Amazon, Oracle, they're all making layoffs. Look at Twitter, right? When Elon bought Twitter, he wasn't the first one to out himself, right? He cut a bunch of the employees. So if you're sitting here thinking that employment is safer than entrepreneurship, newsflash, it's not. At the end of the day, you may be a number to someone's balance sheet, and when the time comes on whether they're going to decide to save themselves or save you, they're always going to save themselves. And look, it's not your fault. And it's not your parents' fault either. Back in the day, during that type of economy, you could get away with that, right? But nowadays you can't. I'm sure you've heard of things like the creator economy, the gig economy. We're going through a revolution right now where people more and more are starting up their own gigs, and instead of working for a big corporation, there's a lot more collaboration going on with these smaller companies, typically, you know, single, solo creators, solo entrepreneurs, self-employed people. So looking back, if I was my mom, right, what I would have done is I would have taken that exact same skill set that I was giving to that company, and I would have taken that skill set and started my own side hustle on the side, okay? She was a photographer and she was a photo editor. So the nice thing is that there's always people needing professional photos, and there's always people needing things edited. Instead of just pouring into the company that was drowning either way and becoming obsolete, what I would have done is I would have started my own side business and started creating additional income on the side, that once the time did come for them to fire me or lay her off in that scenario, or I just got fed up, I now had the opportunity to leave that I did not before. And chances are, if you're working a job right now, or maybe you're going to college thinking about getting a job with the degree that you're going to school for, well, guess what? You have a skill that the company needs. That's what they're paying you for. And 9 times out of 10, you can actually go take that exact same skill and make more money on your own than you can with the company. And guess what? When you start working on your own, you're in charge. Not only are you able to make more money, but you're not going to get fired. So if you still think that employment is the safe route, I would highly recommend that you reconsider that and consider taking the skills that you're already getting paid for from a company, which, by the way, is making a margin on top of what they pay you. You're helping make them money. One of Big Sean's songs has a sample in there where it talks about players in the NBA getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And the question is, because NBA players are W-2 employees, right? At the end of the day, they're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars. How much are the owners getting paid? because they're making money from the players. So if the players are able to make that much, how much are they actually making the owners? The owners are the ones really getting rich there. So if you're getting paid at a job, chances are you're making the owner rich when you could be making yourself rich instead, and without the headache of wondering if your job's gonna get laid off or not. So if you're watching this video and maybe you're in the same position as my mom where you're giving your heart and your soul to a company that you don't even know if it's gonna be around in the next 6 or 12 months, I'd highly recommend taking that exact same skill set you're already getting paid for and instead going out into the marketplace and monetizing that skill set instead. My name's Daniel. Thanks for checking out the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one.